Good. I'm good.
Coach, you have 10 returning players from last season, and you also have 10 new freshmen. How do you think the switch of Bristol's veterans and newcomers meshes with the team?
It's been good. Most of our kids come in July, so they get a little time to bond and hang out and get to know each other before preseason. And our returning players did a really nice job of including the new players and getting them involved and making them feel comfortable. On the field, it's great. These newcomers can play. They're just trying to figure out our system, our shape, college soccer. I think the Missouri game was a little bit of an eye-opener for some of them, but they've done great. There's some really talented players, and they're blending in with our returners really well.
How do you think, in your opinion, this team compares to previous seasons for you?
It's always so hard until you get going. Coming into last year, I don't think anybody expected a whole lot out of this group except us. There's probably a higher expectation level because of our success last year, but until you start playing and getting into some games, it's tough to tell. But talent-wise, I don't see any reason why we can't compete for the Big 12 and hopefully get into the NCAAs and make a run. Those would be our goals. But it's a long season. There's a lot of soccer to play.
Obviously, it's still a work in progress, but just how exciting is this for you?
Oh, it's great. I mean, being out here training is amazing. The girls, there was a little buzz at practice, as you would imagine, the first few times we've been on the field. So, it's kind of surreal still. We walk out here thinking, wow, last year this was, just a field and some rubble, and now you got this amazing stadium. So it's really cool.
I know you've only had the one game, but how is the competition between Hannah and Danny going at the goalkeeper?
It's good. Unfortunately, Hannah tweaked a muscle right before the Missouri game, so she didn't get to play. The plan was to play both of them half. So Hannah trained today, so the hope is that they both get minutes this weekend. They're both good. They both have their strengths and weaknesses, and we'll let it play out. But right now, they both deserve to play, and we'll see how that plays out over the next few weeks.
After winning the Big 12 last season, what's your main goal for this upcoming season?
We got a bunch of goals that, team goals that we'll keep in the locker room. But every year we come in, we want to compete for the Big 12 championship. I mean, that's our goal every season. And we think we have enough this year to do that. If you're competing for the Big 12 championship, you got a chance to do well nationally. And, I don't think you set goals of national championship, Elite Eight. I think getting into the NCAAs is step one. And, then you hope to go on a run. And we've been fortunate. We've had a couple of nice runs, and we'd love to do it again.
How can this stadium kind of elevate the program? Have you already heard the positive response, recruiting, and everything since?
Yeah, it's going to elevate it in so many ways. The generosity of Mr. Patterson and his family have changed our program, or will change our program. Clearly it's going to affect recruiting in a positive. I think when we get kids on campus and they come out here and look at this, they're going to think, wow, this is awesome. Our current players are benefiting from all the amenities that the stadium's going to have. Our fans are going to benefit. What a game day atmosphere and experience to come watch games here. And, those are the main beneficiaries. And as a staff, I mean, we get to work here every day. I mean, it's not working. It's just living a great life. So it's gonna impact so many people, and we're just really thankful that we get to be here.
How does this compare to other facilities in the Big 12?
There's a lot of nice ones. I think this will be, I'm biased, but this will be the best. KU's got a beautiful new facility. Tech, OU, Texas. I mean, they're just really nice across the board. But ours, I'll put it this way, ours will be as nice as anybody's in the country.
Sunday will obviously be a pretty special night. Does it make it maybe a little more special than it is against OU?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have a lot of respect for Matt and his team and his program, and it's a rivalry, but I think it's a healthy rivalry. I think both groups respect each other a lot. It'll be a difficult game no matter when we play them. The opening of the stadium makes it a little bit more special. Our job is to try to focus on the game, which is hard. There's a lot going on around this game, but our job as a staff is to keep these kids focused on OU, because that's going to be a big enough challenge for us as it is.
What kind of crowd are you expecting, do you think, Sunday? Have you heard the thing?
Yeah, I mean, we've sold, I think, over 350 season tickets. To put it in perspective, I think last year we had 80. So there's a big buzz there. The students get back because school starts on Monday. So I would expect, I expect it to be full. I'm hopeful that it's full, and that would be amazing.
How much of an impact do you think Haley Word has on the rest of the team?
Well, I mean, she's our goal scorer. Last year, Haley had a breakout year, scored a ton of important goals for us, and she's improved. She's had a good preseason. She had a good spring, and we expect a lot from Haley. The flip side to that is the other teams are going to really focus on shutting her down, so we need other players to step up and help her. But there's an expectation on Haley, but she's handling it really well. She's a great athlete. She can score goals, and yeah, she's going to be a huge part to play on the success of our season.
Are there any other players you think could have a big season this year?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Haley stands out, of course. JC Jones has really developed into a really good playmaker and leader for us. Julia Lenhart's one of our captains. She kind of holds it together for us. Kim Rodriguez is returning from the World Cup. She's been playing the U20 World Cup in Mexico and brings a lot to the team. And some of the newcomers, I'll tell you what, there's some good players. Whether they make a huge impact this year or in the future remains to be seen, but there's a lot of talent. Having said all those things, last year's team was really built on the collective. It was a very unified team. We worked very hard for each other, and I think that's what earned us some wins in these very close games. So I think it'll be a similar group to last year from that standpoint.
Coach, when it comes to the state of Oklahoma, the Bedlam rivalry needs no introduction. And, aside from the fact that you're opening the stadium that day, you guys swept them last year. So what does this game mean, as well as being like the opener, that it happens against OU after last season?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, you can't ever diminish the Bedlam rivalry in any of our sports. You'd like to say, oh, it's just another game, we're just focused on the game, but there is a little buzz to it no matter when we play each other. They had won 4 in a row against us before we swept them last year, so it's been very competitive since Matt got to town. I think it's been pretty even, so it'll be a tough game. We know they're good. We know they'll be organized. They'll be super motivated to come into our new home and beat us, so it's going to be a challenge. But our kids will be up for it. They'll be excited, and we think we have enough to win the game.
Do you have a position in mind for Anna Wall, or she's somebody you can just stick in everywhere you want?
She can do a lot of things. We're playing her at center back right now.
Okay.
That's where we've trained her, so that's our plan. But we also know if we need a midfielder, she can step in there. She's a little bit like Kim Rodriguez last year. She's a defender, but if you need a good midfielder, you pop her in there, she'll be fine.
You got here in the 90s. Could you ever imagine this kind
Remind me of that.
Could you have ever imagined that an investment like this when you first got here?
You could definitely dream about it. We started talking about facilities probably 15 years ago, and there was a lot of plans, and it takes money, it takes commitment, and it takes somebody who's passionate about our program, and we're very thankful to have Mike Holder as our athletic director, who clearly is supporting every sport here and wants us to have the best of the best. We're clearly thankful to have passionate donors like Mr. Patterson and his family that are so generous to give what's needed to make this happen. Anybody can dream about it, everybody can wish for it, which we all do, but for it to become a reality, I still have to pinch myself sometimes.
How nice is it that it's women's soccer specifically? It's just for you guys.
I think it sends a huge statement from our administration that every athlete at Oklahoma State's important, and I know Coach Holder says that. I think every AD says that, but they don't always back it up. Well, Coach Holder's backing it up. This is the fact that there's no track around it. We're not sharing with the track team. There's no men's team. It's just for women's athletes only. To make that kind of investment is it's pretty humbling and pretty exciting for our team.